Welcome to Cooking with Gringo, where it's Copycat Monday. Why pay a lot for a little when you can spend a little and make a lot? Today we're going to make Copycat Little Caesars Crazy Puffs with crazy sauce. To the bowl of our stand mix, we're going to add in 8 ounces of room temp water, 1 teaspoon of dry active yeast, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Give it a tiny whisk together. And we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. To a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add 12.5 ounces of flour, 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of sugar. We're going to whisk it together. Now that the yeast has set for 5 minutes, we're going to add the flour to the bowl of our mixer, along with 2 teaspoons of olive oil. We're going to knead until the dough comes together, and then we'll continue to knead for 4 minutes. Now that the dough has come together, we're going to knead for 4 more minutes. I'm going to cut off our mixer. We're going to form our dough into a ball. Take some olive oil, put it in the bottom of the bowl, and we're going to cover the ball of dough with olive oil. Try to keep it from sticking to your hand. We're going to cover with saran wrap. And we're going to refrigerate for 48 hours. And now we'll get the tomato sauce done. 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. 6 ounces or 3/4 cup of water. Give it a tiny whisk and break up the tomato paste. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. 3/4 teaspoon of dried basil. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/8 teaspoon of crushed rosemary. Throw that in and give it a tiny mix together too. Now we're going to cover and let it sit in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours before we use it. We took our dough out 1 hour before we got ready to make the puffs. We're going to separate 1 ounce at a time. Now we're going to roll each pile, 1 ounce pile, into a ball. We're going to lightly flour our work surface. Now we're going to roll each ball out into a disc. Take our cupcake pan, spray it down. We take our dough sheets and we're going to layer in. Make sure we have a well in the middle. And we mixed up 2½ cups of mozzarella and 1¼ cup Munster cheese. Take a pinch, add it to the center of each cup. For the pepperoni, we're going to add a pepperoni to the center of each cup. We're going to add a teaspoon of sauce to each cup. And then for the pepperonis, we're going to add 2 overlapping pepperonis. Now we add a pinch of cheese to each cup. Now we're going to bake at 475 for 10 to 12 minutes. While the puffs are cooking, we're going to get started on our garlic spread. Take about 1/4 cup of margarine. Once the margarine's melted down, we're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to set that aside. In a small bowl, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of dried basil. We're just going to get in there and crumble it up smaller with our hand. Now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of grated Parmesan. And we're going to give it a tiny whisk. While they're hot and fresh out of the oven, we're going to brush on the garlic butter. And now we're going to sprinkle on the herb and cheese blend. Now let them cool down a little bit, and it's time to eat. And now it's time to dig in. Bon appetit. That's pretty darn good. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching.